Hi there, I'm Jade Theriot, and I am the author of newly published The Wildest Child, which is a collection of poetry and prose, all written by me. The cover design and back cover design was illustrated by a great friend of mine, Bianca Marie Bongiorno. And what I'd like to do with this video is really talk about my day. And I know that seems kind of silly because, one, who am I and who cares about my day? And two, who am I? Why does this matter? And I think that it matters because I am no one to the public. And I think for other people who are also no ones to the public, your day matters, and what you wake up feeling like matters, and what you go to bed at night feeling like also matters. So that's why I'm doing this. I'm doing this for the no ones to the public eye, because you are someones who deserve to be heard. And for those of you who don't know me, I recently published this book that I just spoke about. And since the second grade, I've wanted to publish a book. So finally I've done that. I've accomplished that goal. But the last week or so, I've woken up each morning not knowing what's next. The book's out there. People have it in their hands. People are reading it. People are giving me their feedback. And while it's nice to hear the positive feedback or the critiques, I'm still stuck. I don't know where to go from here. And this morning I woke up with a crippling aching in my belly telling me that in order to figure out what's my next move, I need to get my ass out into the public and talk about it. Talk about my book and talk about myself and my goals and my dreams. And so today I mustered up every teeny tiny molecule of courage that I could find, and I did that. I crawled out of bed, literally crawled out of bed, got myself dressed, and I drove to a couple locations around Lafayette, which is where I'm living. And although I wasn't completely turned down by anyone, I still left each place feeling completely defeated. One, there was no concrete. I was giving nothing concrete, and I'm a concrete person. I need a concrete action plan to operate. If not, I just start to shut down. And so that's what I did. After leaving these places, I started to shut down. So I ended up going to this local coffee shop right down the street from my home, and I sat there. I plopped down with the 3 copies of the book of The Wildest Child, and I took out my laptop and I started writing. And I wrote about my feelings of defeat. I sent a few emails. I requested my Facebook followers to leave reviews on the Barnes & Noble page where The Wildest Child is being sold. And as I sat there and sulked, I could tell that this man and his 2 children kept kind of looking over at me. I could feel the attention, because I'm not an attention-starving person. And whenever people have their attention on me, I kind of just cringe into this mothball of fear. And he waltzes up to me and he points out the 3 copies, and he's like, you have 3 copies of this book. This must be a really good book. I don't mean to interrupt you, but I'm just wondering what it is. And I literally just stopped for a moment, and I looked up at him because I'm sitting down, he's standing up, and I was just like, what do I say? So I said the most logical thing I could think of, which was, I just wrote this book, I published it, take a look at it if your heart tells you to. So this really kind man picks up the book and he's looking through it and he's asking me about it, and his son comes up, who's probably 10 years old, and his son's talking to me about the book and asking me if I wrote the whole thing and about the author page, even though I don't have one in there because this is my first time publishing a book and I did it on my own and I didn't know what needed to be in there and what didn't need to be in there. And immediately my heart is just bubbling with joy because these people are showing an interest in my art. And the guy hands me, $20 bill and tells me to keep the change. He wanted a copy and bought a copy of The Wildest Child. And I'm talking to him about it, and come to find out he's the owner or manager of the string of coffee shops around town. And basically he offered to help me in any way that he could. And after such a low feeling of defeat beforehand, it was so encouraging to have someone, a total stranger, look at me and say, good job. Or a total stranger to pick up my book and flip through it and say how great it feels in his hands and how much content he can see is written. And then to have his 10-year-old son walking around in the middle of the sidewalk reciting my own poetry to me with such an excitement and enthusiasm that I haven't experienced since I published it. And I guess the main message of this really random and ridiculous or so video is that I was feeling defeated. I plopped down at the coffee shop. I kept writing down, I wrote down, where do I go from here? And I just started doodling arrows in every direction because I'm lost and I don't know what's next. But to have this total stranger come up to me and say, good job, it was remarkable and uplifting. And the universe has a really funny way of giving you exactly what you're asking for. You just have to be clear about what you're asking. And I guess today the message I received from the universe was that I'm on the right path. And with that, I just want to let everyone know, everyone who has read this book or who has supported me and my art in any way, I want to let all of you know that I'm not giving up, and this is only the beginning. This is only the beginning. Stay wild.